Alright. Alright. So I'm out here. I got this cool Yeti blue mic from this dude named Smalls, who was living at my house for a little while and mostly just smoking pot on my couch and letting his girlfriend pay the rent, which is like super cool. Smalls is a G. His music is fucking incredible. And when I saw him last, I asked him if he left anything at the house that he needed, and he said no, which means that this microphone is mine now. Hey. Hey, Travi. What's going on? You talked to Papa?
No, what are you doing?
I'm recording on this new microphone I got.
Can I not record before?
Yeah, sure. Alright, I'm back. I'm recording again. I'm probably talking too loud into the mic, but that's okay, because I'm up here. I'm in the attic. This is basically just a proof for the radio broadcast that I will inevitably end up doing, but that shit takes money, and I don't really have any money, but I have a lot of time, so I'm going to spend some of my time doing this right now. So first things first, I got to adjust my little setup here. Alright, this blue mic is pretty cool. I was talking to my buddy John about it, and he seems to think that it'll be fine. Boomers, old people like to dictate control over their financial resources because they've accumulated it throughout their lives, and essentially as an effect of having the money, they just kind of use it as a means to control the people around them, to bend them to their will, which is nothing new. I mean, that's what people have been doing with money since, like, literally the beginning of time. And, yeah, alright, so my name's Austin Carlson. I'm a cool guy. I think I'm a cool guy. I'm addicted to social media. I fight. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing. Basically, when I wake up in the morning, I do not feel normal until I do something active every single day, which is a blessing and a curse, because when I feel good, I feel really, really good, but one of the side effects of my lifestyle is that when I'm not doing stuff to make me feel good, I basically feel like really fucking bad, and that's no fun. So instead of sitting here and watching the wave kind of pictures from what my voice sounds like on this recording, I'm going to do something that means a lot to me, and I'm going to edit some work that some friends sent to me, because basically I went to college and got a degree in English, and one of the cool things about that basically is that one of my only marketable skills is the fact that I can read kind of good. So we're gonna start here with Tarot by the lovely Juliet Marvelli. So just to kind of fill you guys in on what I'm looking at right now, I see Prologue, Tarot, Maniac, Chapter 1, Sasha, Chapter 2, blank, 3 blank, 4 blank, 5 blank, all the way to 9 blank, and then Epilogue, Capture. So it looks like she's got the beginning worked out and the end worked out, which is a phenomenon I've experienced a couple times when I write stories. Who are you yelling at? I live in a house with a whole lot of people, and sometimes they like to talk that shit. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna read the only part of Juliet's story that's written right now, which is the prologue. And I know Juliet, and what am I saying? I know Juliet, and I fucking love Juliet. I think she's a great person. I think she's really, really great. But full disclosure, the first page of this story made me want to kill myself the entire time I was reading it. So let's just dive right into it. Prologue, Tarot Maniac. I'm not a bad person. Let's get that straight. The people that are dead because of me, ? They deserve to die. Every last one of them. And I'll tell you why, eventually. But first, let me tell you about me. I take people's lives. The news has dubbed me the Tarot Maniac, Salem College's very own serial killer. After 2 killings, they gave people the option to go home and take online classes, kinda like I was COVID 2.0. Only a handful of people left of their own volition, a bunch forced to leave by worried parents. The rest wanted to stay because they didn't believe it was a huge deal and wanted to keep their independence and stay here with their friends. Again, sound familiar? ? After the 3rd killing, the city issued a curfew. Barely any students followed it, so after the 4th killing, the school decided to enforce the curfew by revoking housing privileges of anyone caught out after hours. Oh, fuck. This sent a lot of people home. By the time the 5th body was found, there were only 100 or so kids left on campus. There were 4 more before they found me. Which really bugs me. 9, they couldn't let me end on an even number. 10, ? Oh, God. You probably want to know why they call me the Tarot Maniac. Easy. If you're smart, you figured it out already, and you can just skip over this next little paragraph. Because, well, it's because I leave a tarot card stabbed into the body that I think was relevant to their life. At first, they thought it was an outsider, but after 3 victims, they deduced it was someone related to the school somehow. So they got a warrant to search everyone's rooms for anyone with a deck of tarot cards, searching through each deck to find any missing. Ridiculous of them to think I'd be stupid enough to leave the deck in my room. Let me just leave my knives out too, why don't I? Now, if you think I'm going to give you any details about who I am, you're wrong. This is the prologue. Why would I give away the big reveal so early on? Maybe as I let each victim tell their story, you'll figure it out. Some of them were my friends. Some of them were random people in my classes. The last one, Jamie, just happened to be too close to the truth. In fact, when the police went to her dorm, they saw her crazy conspiracy board and put the pieces together themselves, and that's how they found me. Kind of saying a lot that a 19-year-old who just began the forensics major was able to figure it out before the professionals. Being at a small school helped, surprisingly, with anonymity, so many people shared the same classes and friend groups that it was hard to find one common denominator. People are trying to find something to blame for my actions, mental health, upbringing, stress of school, bullying, social media, violent video games, and movies. Yes, I probably have some mental issues due to my shitty childhood. Yeah, I was a straight-A student, constantly stressed about maintaining grades. Sure, I was sometimes talked about in negative ways on social media. Fuck Yik Yak. It's true, my favorite genre of movies are those with lots of blood, but there is no one to blame but the dead. Rest in hell, I say. They all had it coming. So that's the prologue. That's page 1, chapter 1, Sasha, the first kill. So after my second reading of this really lovely page, I feel like I have some more things to say about it. After my first read, I I kind of gave it a little synopsis. Now that's what I call edgy. For real though, not bad. Good use of voice to establish setting and history therein. Don't downplay the importance of subtlety. Odds are someone who kills for fun probably doesn't consider it something to herald in public. Pretty language otherwise. You could stab me with a knife and it would probably be cool. I run into this thing when I read, because I write, and when I write, it's a part of who I am. It's like an extension of myself, and it takes a lot to share that with someone, because it's a passion that is rooted in really, really deep emotional ties. And so I want to be careful when I just vividly dissect this entire first page and then send it to Juliet on a YouTube video for the entire internet to see. So first things first. First person self-identifying statements are fucking stupid. I can sit here and tell you I this, I that, I'm so great, I'm so funny, I'm so smart. But the reality is my perception is colored by my own biases, and ultimately it lacks objectivity. If I had to make a creative suggestion, I would say actually nothing at all, because this entire thing is first person, but it's addressing an anonymous third, which in this case is the reader. So it's not bad. It sounds like you're a reporter. I'm the reader. I am the reporter, and I'm asking this fucking brain damaged fucking murderer questions about why they did bad stuff. And obviously there's a large scale cultural phenomenon of people thinking that serial killers are really deep, but basically I think that that's horseshit, but that doesn't really help what's written here. So there are specific points in this first page that immediately date the text, which I don't think is, it's not bad. Again, not bad. If that's what you want to do, you want to make it relevant and topical, then sure. But for real, nobody's out here talking about oh, this was COVID 2.0, and people who are out here talking like that, they're fucking boring, and they're straight up not funny. So there's better ways to say that me killing people on my college campus was leading to kids going to school online, or leading to kids leaving the campus without saying it was kind of I was COVID 2.0, could have been it was COVID 2.0, and it still wouldn't have, because the self-identity of comparing yourself to whatever the fuck that COVID thing was, because that's over now. It is July 12th, 2022, and COVID is over. Yeah, otherwise, it does a good job at establishing the premise for the story. I feel like kind of an idiot, because the first time I read this, I literally could not figure out why she had 9 chapters, but then she just said that she got through 9 before they caught her. So, and that's in literally the second paragraph. So I'm really not a good reader at all, in spite of the fact that this is becoming my major pastime at the current moment. So the only other thing that I think I would want to address, because for me it's kind of important, is that this definitely sounds like a girl wrote it, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's no statement specifically outlining the narrator's gender, and gender doesn't really matter, obviously, but if you want me to believe that someone is a murderer and has killed 9 college students, the type of kill is going to be entirely dependent on the physiological capacity of the murderer, because who's that dude? Motherfucking the real G, Edmund Kemper, the dude who like murdered 6 college students in fucking one night. He just he didn't. No, I guess he didn't kill them all in first murders. He killed his grandma. Killed his grandma. Yeah, what a fucking madman. Shot him. Okay, Jesus, he killed his grandma. That's like usually a really good sign that somebody's gonna be fucked up. It's like, I killed grandma, you know, like, okay. Stab, shoot, smother, female students. Then he would decapitate them. Then he would fuck them, and then cut them up. And this is all happening at Stanford, I guess. In good old sunny California. Very, very cool. And then they put him in jail, and he's still in jail, I guess. Yeah, dude, he's not dead. That is funny. He's 73 years old. So you can kill your grandma, and you can kill 8 women in college, and just still be alive to talk about it with people. Not that I would ever want to talk to that guy. I bet he's a fucking weirdo. Okay, not kind of saying a lot that a 19-year-old who just began the forensics. Okay, so the Jamie, the last kill, is a 19-year-old. And I'm also going to assume that the narrator, you know, the killer here, is probably older than 19 by a little bit. Also, probably an effect of my relationship with dear Juliet, that I'm just imagining her as the killer, which is funny because Juliet is a warm, soft ball of love, and I can't imagine her killing anyone. But I also don't really know her that well, so maybe she's capable of it. I feel like when young women kill, it's always like a really how do you say, it's like a frenzy thing. Like, it's not like a calculated like okay, like, I'm gonna murder this guy. Like, I feel like guys, like dudes who are my age kill and they plan it out. They're like, and it's always because of something bad that's happened to them. So it's like a response, you know, but it's like a calculated response. Here's my dad calling me. Wonder if we should keep him on the phone. Yeah, let's just answer it. Hey, dude.
Hey, come down here, wait, please.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Thanks.
Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I'm feeling good. Gotta go crack the whip. Gotta put the shit down. Oh, I fucking love water. Alright. Let's wrap up the Juliet Marvelli page analysis. Basically, this entire page feels to me like American Psycho 2. And I don't know if anyone listening, Psycho 2, if anybody listening to this has seen that movie, American Psycho 2, All American Girl, a 2002 horror thriller where Mila Kunis plays a murderer who Rachel Newman, the serial killer, She just starts taking a class on serial killers and then killing everyone. Except Mila Kunis isn't even really Rachel. It's I don't know. It doesn't even matter. But Michael Kremko, the guy from a ton, dude, just a shitload of movies and TV shows. Wow, like even speaking roles. Shit. He just he plays Dear Mr. Bateman. So there's that. And it's an American classic, you know. So we obviously got to talk about it. But yeah, it feels to me a lot like that. Mostly just because it's like college kids and college kids getting murdered by like a self-aware and like vaguely satirical serial killer. So all in, I gotta say that this is a solid 5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's right on the line where it could be really bad, but it's also right on the line where it could get really good. So I want to see how it shakes out, and yeah, I wanna see the story come to its completion, and I hope that it can make me laugh truly. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Sorry, Juliet. Appreciate you sharing this with me, but you're gonna have to do better if you want a better score. So, all right, that's that. We're at 22 minutes, which is a really good time to start the second part of this, which this is gonna be a fucking big one. I'm gonna call this part 1. I'm going to divide this into 5 parts. This is my live editorial synopsis of a short story, a 50-page manuscript written by the enigmatic John Tice Dolbin. Yes, folks, you heard that right. A fella that I went to high school with, currently living in St. Louis, which he's adamant about the pronunciation of. He's been so kind as to send me a 50-page manuscript that he has titled in the little email that he sent it to me, I don't think you understand. It's bad, real bad, like Wattpad young adult serial bad. Well, maybe not that bad, but bad. So I'm excited. Apparently no one has read this, not even JT's lovely fiancée, Andrea. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a 5-parter, and I'm going to do stop here for part 1. I am going to do a 5-part series of my live action reactions to this. So let's begin. The Forest. And I might even really ham this up because I'm reading this in real time, so I might do some radio serial voices if I can figure those out. So yeah, let's go. We probably ain't within state lines, said Eric. Those trees sure don't look like they's ours. What you think? Don't know. Trees are trees, but outside the border seems about right. Hell, outside the margins of any map I've seen, not a sign or soul for days now. How long did the notice say to ride north? Said Giles? I wanna hope that's Gil? Giles, whatever. Said Giles, swatting a mosquito, praying for his neck. A week at a restive pace, it said. We've been at it 4 now, and at a deliberate canter at that. Shouldn't be much farther then. Notice also said about a boarding house a day's ride from the town. At the speed we've taken, we should be coming upon it. It better be. We only packed enough food for 6 days, and with the wet breads gone moldy, that leaves us jerky for 2 days, and I don't plan on picking cow splinters out of my teeth every hour for my final days. Let's pick up. The two riders kicked their horses, and the horses kicked up mud in their wake. On either side of the trail laid endless fields of browning grass, pockmarked with mud and puddles of water shining with the gray of the sky. After an hour's ride, the field on the right suddenly turned to a forest, as if timbermen long ago stopped their work and never returned. Soon they crossed a bridge of stone, glistening in the on top and sopping, with a dull green moss underneath, glistening on the top. Yes, this is why we have editors. On the top and sopping with a green dull moss underneath, the river it traversed came from the forest and turned along the trail so that the field on the left was now replaced by running water and shrubbery. Not long after the bridge they came upon the lodging mentioned in the notice, a wooden sign hanging from a single chain, which itself hung from a torch that resembled a goblet, read only "Respite" in fading white letters. There were hitching posts for the horses with water, but no hay or grain. The riders took the bread from their packs, cut away the mold, and fed it to their mounts before climbing the steps and throwing open the door. There was no one inside. A meager fire burned in the fireplace on the far wall opposite the door, and there was a long table with 13 chairs around it. There were no windows in the place, but paintings hung on the walls. The only light came from the fire and candles scattered throughout the room. On the bar there was a little wooden plaque, etched with "Gone fishin', help yourself." "All right," said Eric, "will do." "Wait a moment. This place is this room, and that's all? Where do we sleep?" said Giles. The door suddenly flung open. An old, hunched man with dark gray hair falling to his shoulders stepped into the room. A chill air followed him and was promptly shut out as the door creaked shut. There were 5 fish strung over his shoulder. "Welcome," said the man. "Have you helped yourself?" "Not yet, but we was just about to," replied Eric. "Good. Bread is low, but fish are plentiful, as is the beer, hence the lack of bread. I'm Jones. You boys hungry? Thirsty?" "Yes, sir, we are. Tired, too. We'd like to bunk here for the night if possible," Eric said. Oh, fuck. "Oh, it's possible, just not so comfortable. Let me get our supper fried, I want to say that means. Fried. Help yourself to the beverages, those taps on the bar are there." Jones hobbled over to the fire, skewering the fish and hanging them from a hook above the flames. "Oh, and the matter of pay, it'll be 50 cents for both of you, food included. If you stay longer, help me with some of the work here, I'll drop it down to 50 total, food included. So how long you staying?" "Just the night. We're on our way to a town that's supposedly up ahead. Saw a notice on the board back in the city about some business that needed brawn and bullets. Figured that was us," said Eric, who was already at the taps filling up 2 tin mugs with amber, frothy beer. Giles eyed him from the corner, the wrath of God in his eyes. Eric shrugged. "My brother here don't talk much, and he don't like me talking much. Always big secret with him, but this'll loosen him up." He pushed one of the mugs into Giles' hands, clanked them together, spilling a little beer from both, and gulped the rest down, spilling even more down the side of his face. He let out a hollow burp and returned to the tap. Giles took a modest sip. "I assumed as much," said the old man, turning the fish so as to crisp the skin all round. "There's been folk like you comin' here since I opened the place. To tell you the truth, I was you folk once. Those people, if they can be called that without dragging the whole of humanity down to their level, have been putting out their little contracts for decades now. Their problem has only gotten worse, but their prices remain constant. We've been selling our services for going on 20 years now," said Giles, finally joining the conversation. "If they'd been peddling their papers to every prole that can read, why haven't we seen it before? The old man turned on his haunches and looked at Giles. "You'll see, this isn't a job that's feasible. The best in the world have tried, and the best in the world have died. The fellows they pay to put up the posters, they also pay to keep a lookout. Whenever someone pulls their notice from the board, they see it. Then they follow those people around. If they start the journey, they let their employers know it. And that board is never used again. Lets folks try it without the way being muddled by rumors and hearsay." So you weren't the best then. You didn't die," said Giles. "I didn't try," said Jones, turning back to his cooking. The fire spit and crackled as juice from the fish dropped like water from a loose faucet. Eric was on his 5th trip to the tap as Giles was finishing his first. Eric was swaying a bit as he filled his mug. "This is some strong stuff, Mr. Jones," said Eric. "I make it myself. Gets me through the bouts of loneliness. 4 pints, and you'll not care much where you lay your head," said Jones. "And it's not Mr. Jones, just Jones. I haven't a family name, at least not one I'm aware of." Jones stood up, his knees and ankles popping along the way. He brought the fish to the table and invited the brothers to have a seat and more ale. "Trust me," he said. "I want you to drink it all. The more you drink, the less I have left over. The happier my poor liver will be." Eric grinned. The 2 of his bottom teeth were missing. He filled up his mugs once more and Giles a second time. Jones brought one of the 2 loaves of bread that were hiding under the bar, and they all sat down to eat. Eric had a fish in one hand and a crusty chunk of bread in the other, taking a bite of fish, spitting a bone here and there, and then ripping off a piece of bread, finally washing it all down with a greedy gulp of ale. The old man watched, proud of his cooking, a faint smile on his taut face. Giles had taken out a large knife, cutting pieces off of the fish and spreading them like butter across the bread, sipping intermittently from his drink. Watching the old man, Jones turned to him. "How's the fish?" he said. "Very good, thank you," said Giles. "Excellent," said Eric, jettisoning bits of fish and bread from his mouth. "Glad to hear it," said Jones. "Did your horses eat?" "Yes, they're fine. I suppose you don't have a stable for them to stay the night," Giles said. "Afraid not, but they'll be all right out front. You 2 are the first people that have come down this road for months now." No, that isn't true. There was a fellow I saw that didn't spend a night here. They came through, maybe a week ago, hard for me to say, and the days get all jumbled being alone out here, but believe me, the horses will be fine. I assume since they haven't come back down the road that these 3 were some more of the best. Well, I can't. I'm on, what page am I on? 5. Page 5, damn, alright. Fuck. Alright, let's fucking do it! Well, I can't claim to know it, but they looked hard enough, armed to the teeth, like you 2. But there's a chance they aren't dead yet. They'd be foolish to go in after only being there less than a week. Eric burped again, loud and full this time. He scooted his chair out, stumbled a little getting up, grabbed Giles' mug, and filled them both up. Hey, that's nice little... "Oh, thanks," said Giles, when Eric handed him the drink. "Reckon you've had enough?" "Maybe I have, but I know you haven't. Drink up, brother. By the sounds of it, we've got about a month tops before we're in the ground. Drink up and be merry." Giles turned to the old man. "You said they'd be foolish to go in. Go in where?" "Ah, apologies, lad. I'm not used to all the chattering. Usually large groups of men take this job, hence all the chairs and the table is far too big for a recluse like me. They never talk to me and I never talk to them." Jones paused, staring into nowhere, or maybe the past. "Let me clean up and I'll answer your question. Maybe a little information." I really like that. Little editor's note here. Jones paused, staring off into nowhere, or maybe the past. That's fucking beautiful. I think that captures an energy. Time to... Beautiful. It's because the statement functions as an afterthought that it allows yeah, it's great. Let me clean up and I'll answer your question. Maybe a little information is all you'll need. This is a hard path you've chosen. You'll need all the help you can get. After Jones finished clearing the table and getting everyone a refill, he sat at the head of the table by the fireplace. Giles was on the other end and Eric in the middle, on the side closest to the bar. Before we get to this little interrogation, I have a question of my own. What made you take this job? Said Jones. The money. What else? $50,000, which is more money than I've ever seen offered anywhere by anyone, Giles responded. Jones sighed and then chuckled. When I took the job, it was $5. Still quite a lot of money, but 50 seems a little too good to be true, doesn't it? It does. We've planned to vet the town first, see if they could actually have that amount, and if they don't, how much the legit offer is. Oh, they have it. That and much more, all right. What do you want to know? What can we expect when we get into town, and why isn't it on any maps? Said Giles. Well, you can expect to enjoy your last few days alive, that's for certain. Anything you might want, those people will have. The streets aren't lined with gold or anything, but they may as well be. Just don't judge it by its looks, or maybe you should, I don't know. As for the uncharted nature of it, the answer is easy. Nobody that comes into that town ever leaves, whether that be by their choice or not. Thus, no word has ever reached anyone. What else? Said Jones, looking to Giles. Why does every merc that takes his job die? Except for you, of course. That's a little trickier to answer. I don't quite know. And that's why I'm alive. I've got too drunk the night before we were going in. I overslept and they all left without me. My head felt like it was beaten with a stone and covered in mud, so I just figured I'd catch up with them in the evening. By then the town leader, Forstall he's called, came and told me everyone in my party was likely dead or dying. They offered to let me stay so long as I wanted to, and I did for a while, but I had nothing there. Not that I had anything anywhere else either, but eventually I asked them if I could build an inn a few miles from town. They laughed, but obliged. And here I've been. I don't know what killed my friends or anyone else, but I know they died in the forest, the one right behind this very inn. Giles inhaled deep and finished his drink. He looked to Eric, who was swaying in his chair, and shrugged. Get me another, Eric grinned, popped out of his seat, and acquiesced to his request. Another nice alliteration. It seems like Mr. John Tice Dolbin is pretty good at these. Little compliment for the man. Alliteration. That is, if I'm not mistaken, let me make sure. Yeah, alliteration is repetitive use of sound. So, acquiesced to his request. It's kind of like a rhyme, but it's a little deeper. You still want to do this, Ricky? Asked Giles. Eric brought the drinks and stood over Giles, towering over him. He lifted his mug to the sky, to death and glory, and all the gold that comes with it. Giles chuckled and lifted his mug as well, to dirt and blood and all the bugs that shall eat our corpses, and the brothers finished their drinks on the spot together. They had chatted with Jones for some time. Eventually, even the fire in the hearth had got quite sick of their yapping and put itself out for the night, leaving only the flickering flames of some candles to light the room. Very well then, lads, let's get down to bed. Follow me, said Jones. The old man took one of the candles from the table and went behind the bar. In the middle of the floor was a hatch with a big cast iron ring on the bottom, with hinges at the top. Jones pulled it open, revealing a set of steep stairs that led to darkness. The three of them went down, first Jones, then Eric, finally Giles. There was no railing to hold, and the brothers were quite drunk at this point. Eric was tall enough to hold the sloped ceiling for balance, but Giles had nothing. Jones and Eric reached the dusty floor at the bottom and turned to see Giles on the third step from the top. Giles sat down and scooted down the steps one by one. Jones quickly lit other candles, and a small lantern that hung from a wooden post. The room was as big as the one upstairs. Barrels of fermenting beer lined the far wall. The floor was clear, but for a cot against the wall. You boys have the floor. If you don't have sleeping packs, I can accommodate. We do, thanks. Why did you build down instead of up? Asked Giles. I'm afraid of the forest. I know not what lies in those crooked trees when you're alone. You try to put everything you can between the monsters in your head and yourself. I've never seen anything come out of those trees, but I hear whispers some nights, scratches at the door. I could be imagining it. It could be a squirrel, but I don't know. I don't risk. Don't worry. The horses will be safe, I promise you. Whatever it is that kills men that go into the forest doesn't care much for horses. They all come back to town, every one. Good night, lads. Jones blew his candles out and motioned for the brothers to do the same. Giles was bedded right next to the lantern post, so he blew that out last, enveloping all in blinding dark. Alright, that was chapter 1. Fuck me up. Fuck me up. Fuck me up. That is my consensus. That is my immediate reaction to chapter 1 of the John Tice Dolbin The Forest. Let's see, let me just get down here. Let me just immediately go all the way to the bottom to figure out how many. Looks like there's a lot more characters. Alright, looks like there's a lot more characters. Alright, 6 chapters. Alright, so I guess this is going to be a 6-part series. John Tice Dolbin's The Forest. Alright, immediate reactions. The language is well written. The people sound like people who talk, and the setting lends itself to the energy that the characters convey, which is a positive thing, because there are many stories in which you know, like, the energy will not match the setting, you know, or the setting will overpower whatever characters are in the situation. But I think that this actually has the opposite problem. I think that basically the entire thing is really good, and I think other than some clerical errors, you know, like little shit, grammar, you know, and fucking typing stuff. Basically, the colloquial writing makes sense. The visual, my ability to visualize based on the language that's being used is very, very powerful. And yeah, these are all good things. This reads like a short story that would, and this is obviously, I've only gotten through chapter 1 at this point, but this to me reads like a serial, like something I would expect to find included within a larger publication, not necessarily as an afterthought, but as something to get people to come back to hear the story. And this is probably just an effect of the natural tempo of the action. You know, I mean, first they're just on a trail, then they're kind of hustling down the trail, and then they find the inn, and then they stop at the inn, and then they eat and drink, and now they're going to sleep. I mean, that's like a tale as old as the history of humanity traveling across the earth. So when you get into things that are that ancient, ultimately the staying power of stories like that is not necessarily something to be ignored. So yeah, I have questions. So I'm going to ask these questions, and I will reference them throughout the series to determine whether or not the questions that I have are being answered. My first question is, what year is this taking place in? Because $50,000, like I assume this is probably like early 1900s. Makes sense that they're using, you know, like analog maps, and there's uncharted territory, You know, that's shit that was still happening up until in America up until probably after the Great Depression. But $50,000 is an absurdly large amount of money for that time frame, which I guess is probably part of the story. In fact, it's definitely part of the story. My other question is whether or not these fellas are brothers in blood or brothers in, lifestyle. You know, maybe they're a crime family. You know, I don't know. I also wonder. I'm genuinely curious who's gonna die, if anybody's gonna die. It seems like there's a tremendously foreboding atmosphere, kind of encapsulating the whole story and the whole setting. You know, all these woods are alive, boys. You know, like that kind of deal. And when you get into stuff like that, usually it's not uncommon to see one of the main characters, you know, have some heroic self-sacrifice. But within the same right, maybe nothing like that happens. It'll probably still be good. So yeah, that's part one of John Tice Dolbin's The Forest, a beautiful short story written by the man himself, John Tice Dolbin. And earlier we heard the prologue from the Juliet Marvelli short story called Tarot. And I think that they were all really, really nice. And you know what? I'm really glad. I'm really, really glad that I'm friends with people who do shit like this, because I like to read. I like to talk about what I read. I like to think about what I read. And if you know me, or even if you don't, and you want me to read something and talk about it, you know, I can do that because I'm unemployed. So so I can do that. And my email is austinskywalker@gmail.com. But I'll also probably include that in the description, because this video is going on YouTube. And it's going on YouTube because I'm a degenerate. And I can't just do something without posting it on the internet, you know. So I got to get it done. Hell yeah. I don't know what to call this shit. I think, you know what? I'm going to call this the editorial review with Austin Carlson. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it cool. We're going to keep it super cool, super simple. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube, and then I'm gonna go do a chest workout, because I want to look fucking big and ripped up when I go and see my girlfriend on Thursday, because I get to go see my girlfriend who's in Vermont. I'm gonna be driving a car with expired registration. I'm gonna be driving a car with expired registration, probably 300 miles. So, you know, hope I don't go to jail. But odds are I won't. I mean, cops are cool. You know, you can just talk to them. You can just be like, hey, you know, officer, I'm sorry that both the turn signals in my car are totally not functional. Because, you know, this just happened. There's only a couple times you can really say that before it starts to sound like bullshit, before they even look into it. But for real, this is where I'm at. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this program. And I'm going to keep doing it. I don't really care whether or not anyone listens to it at all. I'm just going to keep doing it. So, yeah, please send me what you write. And thank you for listening. I love you. I hope that your day is beautiful. I hope that whatever you're doing right now, I hope that this has been a pleasant escape from the stress and turmoil of your life. I hope that whatever you do with your time brings you peace and fulfillment. And I hope that your life whatever it is and wherever you are and whoever you're with. I hope that your life continues down a path, or maybe even begins to move down a path of peace and prosperity and love, because that's what allows the love in your heart to grow, and the love in your heart is the power by which you motivate the people around you to build themselves in the image of what they want to be. And the best thing that you can do for someone you love is empower them to be something that they love. So that's that, and thanks for listening.